That's right.
I knew I heard somebody back there. What's happening? What's happening, everybody?
Good to see you. Good to
What's
see
happening,
you.
King?
Always.
Salute with
Hey,
the
how you
fatigue.
doing?
And look at you, look at you.
Thank you.
How's
All right,
everybody?
what we got cooking, Sean?
Excellent.
Tell you right now, I got some egg rolls for you with a spicy Thai peanut sauce.
Okay.
You can dip in. It's not too
Looks
spicy,
good.
a little spicy. It's gonna be good. Who's coming to visit tonight?
Wow, one of my favorites, Milan Christopher. He is a music artist and a great actor, and also from Chicago, so I'm super excited to see him.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, Jay,
Get into it.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Musical artists, they're kind of freaky, you know what I mean?
They can be, you know.
Come on
know,
They're
now.
doing
not
a lot.
about
They be
them.
coming out on stage with sex toys and everything,
Oh,
man.
sex toys.
Although that's being accepted a lot now these days, don't you think?
What, sex toys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in main industries, it's like it used to be taboo.
Well, Antonio is a sex toy.
Oh. I thought you knew.
I used to be too in my younger days. You know. I tell y'all what, why don't y'all handle these toys, and I'll be back with dinner in a little while.
So
all right?
much.
Right, all right. So I am
Enjoy.
the sex toy.
Exactly.
You are being so
Yeah,
naughty,
I'm trying.
Chris.
Oh, yes. I can't get nobody to play. Yeah, I love those ones that are really human-like. So, you know, they are so natural looking, like the dolls, because now they make them so flesh-like and natural, and
Have you played with them before?
I don't know.
You don't know. It was so flat. It was so real.
I was like, hey, doll. But no, I have not yet. I would be very interested in giving that a whirl, though. I'm not above that.
Now I can't
they
get
don't
into
talk
the
a lot.
they don't talk a lot. Yeah, I get.
I know what you're
understand
about
that.
to
I
say.
understand.
Sometimes you don't want
Yeah,
to hear
you
all
don't
that.
want to hear all that.
Yeah.
But that's what the gag ball is for.
Oh.
What's the gag?
I was just about to say, now, I need some elaboration here, because I've never
So
used them.
it's a
I've
ball
only
that
seen
has a
them.
leather strap, and the ball goes in your mouth, and the strap's around your head.
Why a
That's it,
ball?
yeah.
Why not just like
Two
you
balls.
cover
I know what you meant.
That's what you're
Okay.
looking for.
Why not just cover the mouth? Like, what
Well,
is-
you could do that too. You know about that.
No, but really, I'm serious.
No,
like,
you can.
Wait a minute,
You can do
explain
that
the
as well.
gag ball again.
Yeah,
It's an
well-
actual ball.
Yeah, you never seen one?
I haven't.
So
I'm
yes, an
slow.
actual ball,
But I'm willing to
right?
get up to
and
speed.
different sizes, of course, depending on some people's mouths are bigger than others. And then
You're gonna need a big ball.
goes in. And it just straps around.
I'm
Yeah.
not bad.
So it also simulates submission and.
It brings you down and makes you relax.
Well, no, not make you relax. It puts you in the passive state. You know, sometimes you want to be dominated. So you know, so
I
you
don't
might.
think she does.
No. That's right. She's the M3.
Oh,
Now, I personally don't care for sex toys.
I don't either.
I really like engagement, like from
Well, let
another
me not
party.
lie. I
So,
do have a vibrator.
so the sex toy thing just
I
doesn't
have
really
one
do
of
it for me.
I don't consider that a toy. That's my friend.
Oh,
So I'm
it
like,
goes
that's
from
why I said
toy
I
to
don't play with
friend.
sex toys. I haven't. I just, you know, she's been with me a long time, and I just you know,
Now the same one?
the same one. I had to get
How
the
long?
core
How long have you
fixed.
had it?
Over 20 years.
20. Wow. It still works?
And when I first started, they said, you better stop it. You know, I was dealing with women then.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started, my very first experience was, she said, lay up under the faucet. And I thought it was just the stupidest thing, under the faucet, you know. And read a, you know, dirty magazine, but that didn't work for me. And finally, I was massaging.
So when you say lay up under the faucet, this is in the bathtub.
Yeah, that was my first lover suggested that. Because I used to fake orgasms all the time.
No, women say that
Okay,
a lot.
do that again.
Yeah.
And they would, all these girls would
Why
be like,
fake? I'm curious about
I
that.
didn't know. Most women don't even understand. They don't know.
But why fake? Even if like, why go to the point of faking
No,
it?
no, no. I literally thought
That's
I was.
what you're supposed to do.
No, I thought
No.
I was having it. But the other, you know, lesbians, women that had been with women was like, why do you keep on faking? And I was lost. Well, you get no guidance when you're young around sex.
So I'm trying to understand, how were you faking it? Like, what did it look like? So you thought that's just what you were
After a
supposed
certain
to do?
length of time, I
Right.
thought,
Ah, so is that porn? Did porn inform that?
no.
No, okay.
But the vibrator changed my life. Because
Oh.
then, she used to have to put a cap on.
I have a question about that. So if you
Yes.
introduce a vibrator into, so you just said, so that's how you light up when you said, oh, the vibrator changed my life. So now is your real live person competing with your vibrator?
Well, that's what happened. Early on, I was told, don't do it. They were like, Cheryl's going to ruin you. And now, you know, And unfortunately, many years later, it has it's definitely tampered with my sex life, no doubt. But I started early. You know, I was pregnant at 11.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah,
it ruined me. I really went through a lot and never understood a lot. So, you know, yeah.
What about you guys?
I've used the, when you go buy condoms, they've got those new vibrator rings. That's like a little cock ring. And so I was really super curious about it because I was like, okay, how does this work? It was supposed to actually benefit your partner more than you.
You talking about the little bullet? Or
It's like a little bullet. Yeah. And it's
That don't have enough power.
for somebody who don't like the toys, I know a lot about them.
all the toys. I got the balls, the bullets.
Did you hear that? Tony, I'm talking to someone who don't
He's
like
like,
toys.
did you mean the
you do
bullet?
know a lot
Is that
about
the bullet you were talking about? And so no.
Do you play with them too? You, like
Well,
anything
I mean,
else other
that's
than
about it because, you know, I don't like a whole lot of anal situations. So all that, anything going in, it's an outward experience for me. So, so that was kind of the extent of it for me. And oh my God, I did have a situation with someone once where they used it was like a snake. And it was almost like rubber, and you just kind of, for masturbating, you kind of slide your...
Oh, yeah, like a fleshlight.
Like a fleshlight, but it was...
That's what I had.
It was like a balloon.
You have
almost,
one now?
and so.
I had one of the first sex toy I got. I was in college, and it was like a sleeve, like fleshlight, but it had a vibrating ball on the end. And my friends, I used to tell them about it, and they would make fun of me because it was so hilarious that it's like, you know, you're masturbating, and then you turn the thing on. Well, yeah, you know, because...
Oh, okay.
Bring one to the house.
But when you turn that puppy on,
Throw it down.
and it starts vibrating, and it makes you climax almost instantly. So it's like you're enjoying it, and then...
Wait. That's okay. We love it. We love it.
I don't want that.
You don't want that one.
So wait, I got a question. Is it too much?
It's too much. It's too much stimulation.
much
I never...
stimulation.
Let me tell you something. That's the problem, because you graduate, and I'm glad we're talking about this because it's such a taboo topic. You graduate from, you know, small to bigger, and then you need a lawnmower.
Just a razor will do, Cheryl. I know sometimes it gets a little thin in your hair.
Don't do it. I want to tell all the youngsters, stay away. Just keep a human connection. It really is better.
Really?
I really do.
You really think so?
Yeah.
What do y'all think?
I think I, as an enhancement, but for me, like I said, I prefer the stimulation of another person, so it just doesn't do it for me.
But what about the dangers of being with another person? Toys are safe sex.
For me, it's no substitute for another person. Like, I don't think of it that way. Like, I understand what you mean by that. You get tested, know your status, know whether your person is on the cocktail or, you know, so I think you just have to communicate. So it's not just the connection, but the communication, and you don't get that with the toy.
Now, if I have any attraction whatsoever to someone, I am so thrilled. Because it, you know,
I will say I used to do this thing because when I discovered anal sex, you know, I didn't have a dildo, but I was like, sometimes I wanted to feel the sensation, so I would take a pencil.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, no, I'm listening. I'm sorry. No judgment zone.
And I was young. This was, you know, teenager.
trying to explore.
Exploring.
We need
Took
to
a
do that.
pencil and a sock. I would wrap it around.
Okay. Thank goodness.
Whew,
Stop.
Jesus.
Get a condom. Safe sex, even with yourself. Put that thing on so that it held, you know, held the things, and then lube it up, and go to town. And I
Homemade DIY?
home DIY
DIY
dildo.
dildo.
Hello, and I think you're right. I think maybe because early on I was so used to getting the physical sensations without the human connection, that could be why I have not dated in over 10, 12 years.
I'm telling you,
It's
I
all
say
about
no.
getting my
Don't do it.
rocks off, and then.
You know, that's really surprising because you're such an open and vulnerable person. And so when I hear that, I'm really surprised. I wouldn't have thought that. Not that that wouldn't have been a part of your sexual repertoire, if you will. But I am surprised to hear that you haven't really connected with people. Why do you think that is?
I know exactly why. It was a heartbreak. My first love.
That's what I was getting ready to say. If you don't, you can't be hurt.
Yeah,
Your first love.
My first love. I dated this guy for 3 years in Israel. I used to live in Israel, and we were talking about marriage, going to Malta, getting married. And then when it ended, it was so painful
Oh, wow.
that it was like, whoa, this is a pain that I've never felt before. But I know one thing, it's a pain that I'll never feel
Never
again.
feel again.
Yeah. And
And
I've not dated ever since.
Why? Because you're now afraid of love, or
I'm afraid
Pain.
of that pain. I don't want
Yes.
that pain ever again, and I have not come close to it ever again.
Anything in your body that can make you feel that kind of hurt.
Don't assume that you'll have that pain again.
But I don't put myself in the
I
situation
know,
where
but
it
that's
could even
what I'm
happen.
saying. But I'm saying, don't expect to have it again. So this will free you up to be able to put yourself in situations, because what you're going to also shut yourself off from is that joy that you want as well.
I'm fully joyful.
With another person, not.
So
I mean,
we
I know
think we're
creatively
joyful.
and all that.
You cut yourself off and you just tend to, you think you're joyful, maybe.
Do you think I need a person to be complete?
no?
Well,
no,
no.
no, 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 no. We're going to do the PF.
Human connection.
You wanted the relationship, and you said that. You desired it with the guy in Israel. And then it didn't work out. It didn't work out with that individual as we are at this table, that it could work out with someone else.
I look at it like this. A kid who walks up and touches something and burns their hand, if they go back and do the same thing, you're foolish.
But that's the same fire.
And that's a
So
stove.
Right. So,
You change fires.
right. So that if you actually, now, if they go and touch the refrigerator, they ain't gonna get burned. So what happens is, stop going to a fire and go to the fridge. So
Oh, I
that
like
then
that.
that
How
way,
do you find the
I like
fire
that.
from
You
the
keep-
fridge?
you keep.
Thank you.
Vet.
How do you find
vet.
the, you what?
You vet.
You're making a choice to keep going back to the flame.
I think I see what you're saying by vetting. Don't just jump into a relationship because you're two available people who are attracted to each other. Spend some time getting to know each other first, and then decide, okay, this is a compatible
And when
person.
you feel the
then you
heat-
jump in. That's something I've never done.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that you should put everyone in that box of, okay, so now what I'll do is I'll just have random sex with randoms so that I don't have to feel hurt or pain again, and then I'm going to make that be my new love life.
My normal. That's
You know
my
what's
normal.
something about
Addiction.
just random sex?
Screwing.
That ends up, when you get into that habitual pattern as well, then that shuts you off from anything else too. And it's not fulfilling usually. It's like almost like a drug. You need that next trick to feel something, right?
Yeah.
And I've been heartbroken.
Yeah.
See, some people are in love with being in love.
That's
That's-
not me though, Cher.
No?
I'm not in love with it. No. It's more about partnership. I like being on a team.
Okay.
And so in a partnership or relationship, that's like a team to me. And what we can accomplish together is amazing. A relationship is like a gift to yourself because you learn a lot from yourself in being in a dynamic with another person. I always say relationships work for me as long as they work.
Oh.
And you come into my life for us to be a gift to each other, and that gift may be for an eternity, and it may be for 15 minutes, or it may be for 15 years. So, but I don't worry about it in that, oh, I gotta fall in love, fairy tales, ride off on a horse and be with this person for the rest of my life. I don't kind of approach it that way.
Okay.
And some people look at relationships in terms of how they want to move forward in their lives, what is going to be the brilliant possibility of this relationship for me. And then some people look at their past. So they look backwards. They look at what hurt me, what was wrong with that person, and then they compare everything to their damage. They compare everything to what hurt me and was tragic for me, as opposed to what is the brilliant possibility of what's next. He had a divorce. And it's still at the notion saying, this could possibly work with someone else. And it did work. It worked
As long as it worked.
as long as it worked.
Great point.
And then now this no longer works, so move on. How many of us had the same job? Who is still in their first job?
True.
Like at the end of the day, that worked.
And that is what a
while it
relationship
worked.
is. It's a job you don't get paid for.
And so, well, depends on
I love
who
when
you
you look at
partner.
things.
Some people, I mean, Melania, she didn't cash in, boo, for that crazy. And so you just have to, decide, do you want to build your future off of your past or with an outlook of
Like
promise?
And possibility.
Point.
Well, we'll go ahead and take a quick break, and
Thank
then
you,
we'll
Chris.
continue our conversation. After all of that, what about relationships do you think now? Like, do you think that you could possibly see it differently, or?
I feel like what Cheryl said, we're married to the game. I'm focused
I
on.
didn't say that. I didn't want nobody to know that.
But you don't like that word.
that
You don't like the M word.
You said the M word. You know she doesn't
she don't
like
like
the M
the
word.
M
That's,
word.
that's true. But yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like my career is the most important thing, so I focus on that, and
Well,
I don't feel like I need it.
That might be over now, because I used to say, I get into bed at night and be like, oh, Hollywood, stop, leave me alone. But it'll be empty. But now here we are, so maybe we can find love too.
Oh, wait. Okay, speaking of Hollywood, I think my guest has arrived.
All right.
Okay.
Well, hello.
What's going on?
Welcome to the
Matching
house.
I see.
Hey, Milan. Knee hug.
Knee
Oh,
hug.
snap.
Oh,
Hey,
How
come
you
on,
doing?
you're right here in the
What's up,
middle.
man? How you doing? How you doing?
All right
How you doing,
now.
Milan?
Yes.
Well,
Welcome to the house.
I see.
Welcome.
To the house.
What's
Yes.
going on?
This is so great timing. We're just getting dinner.
Okay.
So,
It's right here.
here's Sean, right?
Thank you.
Sean.
Enjoy,
What do we have
guys.
in here?
We got a spicy Thai citrus chicken with some fried rice.
Okay.
delicious.
All right.
Thanks,
so
Sean.
much, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
You
Okay.
always doing it fancy.
Well, you know how we do it in the house, right, guys? So this is great because we were talking earlier about sex toys and adult toys, and you know that you have created a line.
Oh.
So, right. So,
Just made a couple new customers here.
I hope so.
he's not a huge fan.
Not really.
However, is well versed.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's an educated man.
I'm well versed too. But
You're not a fan because your line of toys aren't out here yet. You talk to us about it. It might
Oh,
change our
yeah,
mind.
definitely want to hear about it.
Oh yeah, so what happened was when I posed nude for Paper Magazine after Love and Hip Hop, I was approached by Flesh Jack, and they were like, "Yo, we have to market this. We have to, take it by." I'm trying to
How can we take advantage
grab
of this?
the balls by its
Yeah,
or something like that.
You see Auntie Steph. Come on now. Come on now.
So they wanted me to do a molding of, my body parts, and I was all for it because, I had already put myself out there. So it was like, you know what, I might as well take advantage of this moment. And it's been doing really, really, really well, especially during the quarantine.
Well, and now if they need any more development staff. No.
I'm curious about the molding part.
Okay.
So did you have to do a self-molding? Did someone do a molding for you?
So
did you have a fluffer?
You go.
We want to go back to your body. They
fluffer.
want to go back to your body.
Oh, so I don't know if you guys, how you get an MRI or the thing that like you lay down like this and you go inside. They have something very similar to that. And so you go in there with you and your friend, and they literally like scan your body, and it gets all the way down to like the most. Yeah, so it's literally like
No
a
more
replica.
pencils and socks.
It's
So then what happens?
so they just scan you, and then they the technology or the scan is sent to the machine, and the machine kind of
Almost like
prints
3D.
it.
It's a
Yeah.
3D scanner.
Almost
Yeah.
like 3D
3D printer, yeah.
And it prints it, and it's literally like the exact
Every
replica of
fold
you.
and the whole-
Everything.
Wow.
Even up until like
Vibrate?
the inside of.
Vibrate?
Oh no, it's not a vibrator.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I mean, but you can insert something in it in the back of it, and it turns into a vibrator.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it on the market?
Yes, it's on fleshjack.com /Milan, and actually it's in literally about 80% of all adult toy stores in the country.
All right,
Yeah,
poppin'.
it's literally the #1 best-selling toy on the market right now.
And COVID, it went up.
And COVID, it went up 220%.
How many toys is it?
Oh.
I've sold over 1 million.
Toys specifically.
Okay, went from selling
Said a
music
magic
to selling dildos. Okay.
Million is her magic word.
So it's basically you got the dildo and
The flesh jack.
And the flesh
And the flesh jack is the ass.
okay.
You did both.
And then the dildo is the dildo.
So how did you become so open with your sexuality?
You know what? It was I felt like when I was growing up, I had always tried to like hide. I'm from the hood. I'm from Chicago. So
Chicago, too.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Here,
you know, being from Chicago and growing up from like in the hood, I had a hard time like trying to accept myself walking through the hood and just trying to like blend in with everybody.
Right.
And then I had a little brother who ended up getting shot and passed away. And before he passed away, I told him, you know, he asked me why I don't play the games like with him, football and all the other crazy stuff. And I was like, I'm gay. He was like, so, Ann, like, what does that mean? Like, you still supposed to play with me? I'm your little brother. And then literally 2 weeks after that, he passed away. And after that, I was like, I don't give a shit what nobody says.
Come on
I'm just
now.
gonna be
You
me.
gonna live your life.
And yeah,
It's a wonderful feeling.
so I've just been open.
For how long?
Since I was about 17, 18 years old.
From exploratory years.
Yeah.
What would you tell your young self?
I would tell my young self to not focus so much on what the community says or what people around you think of your sexuality or who you are, because the power is within you. You know what I mean? And you can do whatever it is that you set your mind to. So.
I feel the exact same way.
Really?
Yeah, you know. I told you when I was 12 years old,
That's so powerful.
I was very clear that the world may not embrace me for any number of reasons, maybe because I was a black person, maybe because I was a gay person. And I remember looking and telling myself, all you got to do is embrace you.
What gave you that foundation?
I believe my grandmother. It's really interesting. She used to sing to me, and you know, now there's all kinds of studies that suggest that singing to children when they're little is beneficial. So she sang to me daily, and she always told me I could be anything I want to be. And
That's
so I
so
believe
powerful.
that, and I live that way, as if I can be anything I want to be, and guess what? I can. And we all can.
What area are you from? Like what
I'm from
city?
Detroit.
Oh, you from the Midwest too? Okay,
Mhm.
cool. That's really the hood.
Chris, did you?
It's what we're taught, you know?
Right.
And when you love yourself, no one can come up against that.
All right now.
Including being verse.
Absolutely.
I'm curious too, because I know, you know, just being gay and in Chicago, you know, and being in the hood, it's difficult universally for us as black men. And then choosing to be openly gay on television and sort of becoming kind of this representation of that world. What was that like to sort of realize that you are now a pioneer in some ways on a very popular, very anti-gay series?
It was, you know, so for me, my experience was a little different than a lot of other people because I was not on like, I think Karamo Brown was on like Real World, where it was more, even though you had, the demographic was a lot of African-American people watched it, but it was majority watched by Caucasian people. Love and Hip Hop is the demographic is 25 to 45-year-old black women.
Whoa.
Because I'm not the most feminine guy, but I'm not the most masculine guy either.
But you're in between.
But, you know, I'm like in between. But on television
Cute
for a
as a
long
button.
time, for a long time, you know, we get these, the more effeminate people who are more explored on television, you know, with like the RuPauls. And
Right.
just different characters. So I was kind of like, I didn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? I just had to live in my truth. So
Oh, say that again.
live in my truth.
Oh, goodness.
And the problem with that was you have these black women who are so engulfed in the church. And, you know, I was getting a lot of Bible thumpers. I was getting a lot of you going to hell. I was getting a lot of you trying to change this man.
In the black community,
And
God is mean.
It just, yeah.
What God means?
It's like,
Baby,
you know.
God gonna get you for everything.
Yeah, I was nervous, like, but
Lord.
at the end of it, even though I didn't want to come back another season, I was blessed because I got like literally thousands and thousands of messages of people like, you saved my life, you know, kids emailing me, being able to go on the Wendy Williams show, being on the cover of like all these different New York Times, New York Post, LA Times. I was like, oh, I did something good.
From living your
From
truth.
loving hip hop though. But yeah, my experience was, at first it was a little scary, but it was still good.
Who's your support system during that time? Because that means a lot. Am I right?
Yeah, my support system was my family, my mom, well, my dad at first. My mom didn't know until that show.
Yeah.
But my dad, and it was pretty good.
Everybody don't have that family support higher.
Well, I like the way that you put it the other day when you said that my family didn't know what to do with me, because for the longest time I held it against them that they were abusive emotionally, psychologically, when that's closer to the truth, that they just didn't know.
No.
When we're kids, we have the churches against us. We go to school, the community, our school, the people in the school are against us.
Bullies.
If we walk down the street is against us. So gay black men keep everything on the inside. So I definitely know, like, when we're growing up, you have to find strength within yourself.
I'm
because
so honored to be here.
Where did you find additional support? What did that really look like?
Additional support came when, you know, people were able to, like, start to relate. They were like, you know what? This relationship is just like my relationship, you know, straight women, straight men, and then of course the LGBTQIA community was like, oh, we got somebody on TV that looks like me and acts like me. So, you know, so I started to gather a lot of support by that. But the funniest thing is that 80% of my fan base is actually now black women.
Wow.
So if you go to my fans and my followers and you break down the demographics, now those people that were throwing the Bible, you going to hell, this and that, are now supporters.
Because everybody want to be free.
Well, no, I think on some level that you've been sexualized.
Yeah.
I think that at this point now,
Oh, so
some
that's
of that,
why women want it.
well, some of the criticism, I mean, he's not that typical flamboyant, effeminate gay image physically. Physically, you know, you got this aesthetic.
I can give you gay.
Right.
I saw on your interview with the Breakfast Club that you were into the ballroom scene.
Yes. So
Please tell me. I'm fascinated.
So when I was younger, when I came out to my little brother passed away, I had a moment where I ran away from home because my dad, you know, he's a police officer, number one.
Yeah.
He's a black man from Chicago, number two, and he's a Christian. So it was just really hard for him to show any type of like love. You know what I mean? So I had to find it from somewhere. So I ended up running away from home, and I found my gay mother. Her name is Temperance. She's a transgender woman. I love her to death. And she brought me into the ballroom scene. And in the ballroom scene, because I always wanted to be an entertainer anyways, I wanted to dance and sing and all of those things, I found a platform for me to like grow into that and learn who I was. And it was amazing. I've been in the ballroom scene for literally, I still go to balls.
Do you walk in them?
Yeah, I walk balls. I walk Sex Siren, which is basically
Of course.
a body boy. You come out, you show your body, and I walk labels, which is like designer clothes and stuff like that. So yeah.
In the House of Milan, right?
No, they have multiple different houses that are named after like designer places, like the House of Balenciaga, the House of Gucci, so on and so
Isn't
forth.
that like the all-inclusive too? It just feels so all-inclusive in those spaces.
They welcome anybody and everything.
That's just like this house.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Like this house.
Like this house.
I'm in this house.
There you go.
You know, I'm interested in this fan base.
Okay.
Because I've often found that there's this complicated relationship between black women and gay men. And it often can look like support to a certain point.
Right.
And when you start to really be and they start to see you as competition, the game changes.
Whoa.
Wow.
So if you're doing their hair and you're telling them they're fierce and you're making them fabulous, they love you. But if they start to see you as a threat, then you're a punk or a fag or, you know, when she's pissed. So I'm just curious, have you?
I just want to
yeah,
chime in.
go ahead.
I feel like in
That's
his case,
deep.
it went the other way because they started off seeing him as competition.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Could they be
I
up to
think he's about to
something,
say something.
He's saying, could
Well,
they be up to something?
I think it's really funny because initially, you know, people like to put gay men in a box just in general, whether you're gay, black, white, Chinese, whatever it is, whatever, purple, pink, whatever. So like you said, when we're doing hair, when we're doing makeup, when we're, you know, styling them, everything is cool. But when you now become a star or celebrity yourself, everybody gets on pins and needles. It's like, you know what I mean? And I think, not with the fan base, I think with like the show and the people behind the show, it starts to get really, really weird
we're planets, though.
Women are kind of socialized to be competitive amongst themselves,
Yeah.
first
Oh,
of all. And
no
so that
question.
same competition is what they bring to the gay male relationship oftentimes if they think you're a threat to taking their man. Or think about how many women are just their minds are blown on this whole DL thing. They're so preoccupied with it, and all these magazine articles say how to find out if your man is gay and how to know if he sucked the
That's partially
tips.
one of the reasons why
Obsession.
my season went so big is because it had that DL element to it.
Yes.
And that was actually a problem for me because when you talk about DL relationships in the Black community, that also initiates a conversation in the back of women's head, HIV.
Absolutely.
And so,
Absolutely.
I don't, that's one of the reasons why I was like, yo, I'm negative. I don't want to even push that narrative. It's one of the things that the women would say, like to Miles or myself, or, that's how, or Amber, the girl who was in it, and it's like, you get HIV from having unprotected sex.
And that's with whomever.
Anybody.
With whomever.
So
No
don't
doubt.
try to make it into this gay disease. And I didn't like that. And I don't like the false stereotypes or the false narratives. You know what I mean? So
There are some gay men who really try hard to be and act like women.
Yep.
So that then they put themselves in a competitive position and actually instigate that.
That's true.
So that
That's true.
there are some gays that instigate that narrative.
But are gay men acting like women, or are gay men just being themselves and being feminine? Because there's a lot of times that straight Black women and straight women take stuff from our culture and capitalize off of it.
Can we say Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Period. You know what I mean? And a lot of times,
Did I say that?
No, go ahead. No,
and a
go
lot
ahead.
of times, then they turn around and say, "You trying to be me?" No, sweetie, you're trying to be me. We initiated this conversation. We
That
dressed
is
you.
a-
We
That's
styled
an
you.
excellent point.
Everything that you got
That's
going on, from your hair to your wardrobe to your shoes, a gay man put that
Created.
on you.
And I
or
want
you
you
went
to
to a
know-
drag show and saw the girls doing that at the drag show, and now
Exactly.
you're doing it as you perform and do your shows.
I definitely see how women can appropriate from the gay culture, and I never even thought about it from that perspective, which I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because I definitely looked at how, I see gay men acting like women, or that's what we kind of grow up sort of seeing that and thinking that, and to actually imagine it in the opposite is a really great perspective. So we'll just take a quick break, and then we'll come back and hear all about what else you got going on. Cool.
All right.
So you guys, I had to rent to my car because I have a special gift for you guys.
Nice.
So here is my toy box. So let me show you guys what's in here.
Get comfortable. Wow. Can we take it out?
Sure.
And then can I go to the bathroom?
Stop drooling first.
After dessert.
I know, thank you so much.
Very nice.
Since you invited me to your house.
Thank you. Oh, wow.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I love
doing
to see
you.
how you keep rising above it by, introducing something else. I mean, from the sex toys
I
to
love you for
then
that.
now everyone's doing YouTube channels, but you actually have kicked it up yet another level to your own network.
My own streaming network.
Okay.
So I wanted to just be able to be in control of my narrative. A lot of times we have to go to different places in order to get validation. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of going on the auditions. I'm tired of sitting in front of a group of people who says if you're good enough. You know what I mean? I can go behind the camera and produce my own content. I have enough numbers, I have enough fans to distribute that. And if you look at the way the Times is, why everybody's sitting at home, so why not make your own app? Just like the other networks that they're doing.
Absolutely.
All of the networks are literally turning to social media. That's why they're always hitting me up saying, "Hey, can you post this for us? We'll give you this, we'll give you that." I'm gonna post my own stuff. I'm gonna make my own television TV series like Ragnaron, which is a comic book.
How did you come up with Ragnarok?
So I just, I am a nerd at heart. So like I
Tech
said,
nerd?
not a tech nerd, but like when I was growing up in the hood, only place I had to escape was in my own mind. So I used to read a lot of comic books and stuff like that, but I never saw, first of all, there's very few Black superheroes, let alone a gay Black superhero. And I was like, you know what? I want to make a comic book for gay black superheroes and storylines. So it's really dope.
Empowering.
Yeah.
So you know that you're a controversial figure, just being an openly gay,
Yeah.
black,
Just being
masculine
you. That's the
identified
real
man on
problem
television.
people get
Yeah.
tired
And I'm
of.
sure people slide into your DMs with all kind of information and
Yeah.
criticism, et cetera. And then your position has been pretty much one of I'm the first this, I'm the first that, so it's kind of that vibrato that people sometimes hate on. Have you
Yeah.
experienced any of that?
I think, doing something that no one's done before at any given time, especially when it's new, you're gonna get pushback. So, it doesn't really bother me at all.
Preach.
If I had somebody some blueprints that I could follow before I did things, I would follow them. But pretty much some of the stuff like posing nude for Paper Magazine, being the first to start a gay black superhero comic book TV series.
Powerful.
And being one of the first, because like I said earlier, Karamo Brown was on television doing reality before me, and I think
And Sean Sasser.
yeah, and even the
Even before him.
the Latino guy, rest in peace,
Pedro.
his boyfriend was also
Sean
black.
Sasser.
Yeah. So definitely, I think me and Miles had the first maybe gay black relationship on television. Well, I know we did. So with two men. So I think that's might be something, but it's not something that is that I feel like.
Well, now you have a trans party.
I have a trans friend.
Oh.
A trans friend
Okay,
that
see how
I'm,
rumors get started?
Yeah, so I have a trans friend that I'm getting to know. Cause I'm tired of can I say I'm listen, I am tired. I am ready to try something new. If there's any Latino friends you got, any Caucasian friends, send them my way
You
because
say black folks really
It's
will have
just-
a
Oh, so
problem
you're talking about
when it
black
ain't
folks,
there.
not men, but
Yeah.
black
You know, I might
folks.
cross over myself.
I need the crossover.
I'm tired of
Because it
people.
seems like they are
Jesus.
all my friends that have Caucasian or maybe
Peaceful
trans.
relationship.
Their relationships are prospering. I don't know. Maybe I'm just dating the wrong man.
I'm
so.
just glad you spoke on it, though, because
Yeah.
you want to know why? I hate to go back. The enslavement trade taught us to fight each other.
Yeah.
Your earlobe too big. Your baby toe is too big. You be trying to love. It's just this combativeness in our race.
But also, it's such.
It's sickening.
It's so crazy with us. We tend to be very competitive with each other.
Oh.
Now, when I come in the room, you want to compete. Or you want to feel like,
You have to challenge it.
Let me challenge what he's doing, or let me tear it down. That's
It
another
doesn't
thing
have
that we
to
do.
be that
It's
way.
that Jim Crow
Yes.
law mentality that seeps in
Oh.
even up into our community, but it's even worse in our community because we are the oppressed within the oppressed.
Exactly.
So now we oppress each other. You know what I mean? So even when that pushback or the controversy, it's like I don't care about it.
shoulder, baby,
Yeah,
preach.
there is a time when you have to
Stand
check a
up
bitch.
for yourself. And if you don't stand up for yourself,
Yeah.
people will roll over you with a steam shovel, and guess what? They supposed to.
Yeah.
So I respect you for talking about, because if we don't, we will definitely not want to get on the subject of the fight between, especially black men and black women. Oh, Lord.
My question to that is, and I find it so ironic, why do we exclude straight people from the LGBT community? I feel like there are straight people who are just a part of our community as the next person. Like when I was growing up, my father, who had a best friend, he was raised, and he's straight. He was raised by a transgender parent and a woman. And they were both gay, but he was straight, and he goes to balls, he goes to the clubs, but he's straight.
My best friend is straight.
He's still a part of our community.
Right,
and
right.
why do we keep them out as if, because they are heterosexual, that they're not a part, or they're not a part of the movement?
I don't know that we keep them
That's why
out.
we added the
Ally.
A at the
Okay,
end,
ally, yeah.
So the
LGBTQIA.
A and okay, I didn't know.
What? Do we have added another letter?
No, but so this is what I think about that.
Chris
Some
said
people,
the W.
some
Whatever.
people criticize that, and some people, like straight people who are kind of anti-gay, they'll say, "Oh, the alphabet people. They keep adding letters." Well, I think
Well.
what we have is, if you're not in the LGBTQIA, then you're an ASSHOLE.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
ASS.
Wow.
Oh,
Do you see what I'm saying? Because everyone should be, if you're not an ally, then what are you?
Right.
You know, so I love that they're
Well,
included.
think any group that is oppressed and
One letter is left.
marginalized,
I'm sorry.
that's okay, tends to group together. It's just like the same reasons that women would tell you they're not inviting men to something that women are doing. So sometimes it isn't so much about keeping them out. It's just like, this is what we're about, and we have to create this over here because the broader society are not giving us space for that. And I think in the gay community, that's the case.
Right.
So because we are ostracized, then we want to get together and try to build each other up.
Right.
Okay, well, we're gonna hold on there and then get ready to have dessert.
This was so good. Whoever the chef is, this
Sean.
was so
Sean,
delicious.
I do think it's really interesting about the sort of A added to the LGBTQ.
Oh, sorry. It's just
The chicken was so good.
great. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you liked it. In keeping with the theme of Thai food tonight, I fixed green tea ice cream for you with a whipped topping.
Wow, thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Yes. So, I love that you guys were mentioning the idea of allies and the inclusion of the straight community as allies for gays. So, I mean, do you find that that is a good enough way to acknowledge those straight people who tend to be there and be a part of our culture and our life, that we don't distinguish them because they're real grassroots supporters?
Right.
Do you think that the straight community is comfortable having an A and being part of that collective?
I mean, hopefully they are, but I also feel like a lot of times we as a community, and just especially in the Black community, we always want to disseminate each other, like light skin, dark skin, masculine, feminine, even into now we're into the gay community, the masculine gays, the feminine gays, the transgender gays. Like, I feel like we're all one community, and I think that is a problem because we have that kind of back and forth conversation within our community. You know, a lot of gay men or straight people don't know that the transgender women were the ones who started Pride and gay pride and just pride in general. They were the ones who threw the first rock and threw the first fight, you know what I'm saying? So it's like we are all in this together. So I think that is
You know, at 17, I was in a gay bar. And I'm glad you said that because I was trying to find myself. I was trying to explore. So I had relationships with women. And then the moment I met a guy and had sex and went back and said, hey, I had a ball and I'm not, and they were like, no, you're gay. And I was like, no, I'm not. And so now at this age, I don't have really any strong desires. And so I got to stay stuck in a box of, oh yeah, you were gay, so you still are. Or are you straight? So when you looked over at me and you said, are you straight? I was like, I'm not, I don't know.
I think that's kind of ironic because we do that to our men as well. So if a man ever has sex with a man, ever, or does anything sexual with a man, we automatically label them as gay. We don't do that to women.
And that's the
We
joke.
don't do that to women.
I could suck a tomorrow
And
they'd
go-
be like, oh, okay, I'm
And it'll be
married.
totally
And it's okay.
accepted,
But
yeah.
my man,
Patriarchy.
who I
Yeah.
loved all my life for 40 years, went to prison early, had an experience in prison, got 23 prison numbers now, cracked out. And even my family would be saying things when he would come around.
But my question would be to you guys.
He's all the man I need. Ever needed.
Now listen, we about to have a real conversation.
Okay.
I have had sex
Sydney.
with women before,
Okay.
So have I.
but that does not make me straight.
No.
So why is it if a man has sex with a man, that doesn't necessarily make them gay? They could have experimented. I experimented with women, but I'm still gay. So why do we have this double standard if a man well, they're not bi, they're not gay, they just had an experiment and they moved on.
Well,
Why do we do that?
A girlfriend of mine once told me that it was because we're still mammals and that the females are always looking for the strength of the male. And so that because they have an appendage, that women don't have penises. The idea of sex and intercourse is the idea that there's penetration, so that in order for that to occur, that in some way one of those parties would be submissive in some way to the other for that.
But what if you're the one putting your appendage in the other one?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. But most women don't think about that. When they think about
Gay, they think about somebody getting the
they
appendage
don't,
put in them.
Yes, they don't think, oh, my boyfriend is penetrating another guy.
They think about their boyfriend getting penetrated.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
But
think it's steeped in
That's how it's looked at.
patriarchy and
Yes.
misogyny. Because the top of the pyramid is maleness.
Right.
And the moment you bottom for a man,
Right.
you're not considered a man.
Right.
And so you tie that now to misogyny because women are seen second to men.
Right.
And if you occupy the highest spot, why would you want to bend over and give that away?
Right.
It's a
But what
betrayal.
But what about the women who strap on and
I'm not talking about all the options because
Yeah.
we do all of it. But what I'm saying is how society is structured and what we're taught. So you're looking
to
at it in
change that narrative.
juxtaposition.
So what the women need to do,
Absolutely.
or the people who think about that, they need to ask God, why did he put the man's G-spot up there?
That's what I say. Now, wait a minute. I'm so glad you said that because I say,
or not concern themselves with it at all.
wait a minute. I always tell straight
sex is
men.
sex.
Look,
Like-
anytime I hear a man harping on, yeah, he gay, he kind of, I will tell him in a minute, we're going to cut the lights out, you're going to get naked, I'm going to send him in with the paper bag over, cut the mouth out. Once you hit those holes, tell me if you care.
But
if
see,
it's
the
a man or a
challenge with
woman.
that, that's the challenge with that is we reduce. For me, being gay is not reduced down to sex. First of all, if I
Sexuality,
never
hear you.
have sex again, literally,
I hear
that
you.
wouldn't change the fact that I'm gay.
Right.
And I think it perpetuates all these ideas about who's having sex with who, and if you just have the right sex with this one or that one. It's
Sex plays a huge
and,
part.
and for some gay people, it is only about sex.
But
you.
Sex doesn't define who
It's
you
highly
are.
overrated.
It's because what defines who you are is who you love.
Ooh.
It's about love at the core. It's not about the physical action of sex. It's about, am I emotionally
You get those
and
chills when
sexually,
you lay on.
because you can be a virgin and still be gay. And you can be a virgin and still be straight because you...
But that's more about your attraction, though.
No, but we're
right?
talking about how you said how they define us with sex. There's people who have never had
Well,
sex
we
that are
even
still
define
gay.
ourselves with sex,
'Cause
and
it's
that's
that
what I'm
powerful.
saying. I'm not defining us.
No,
as
because
sex.
I don't define myself. I just said I had sex with women before. That didn't define me as straight. I've had sex with
You know,
men
I'm not
before.
talking about you, Milan. I'm saying people do.
Yeah.
And I was actually riffing off of Cheryl's statement about covering up your head,
Right.
and someone just pleasuring you. So that's just about what's
And it
happening
feels
in
the
the
same.
sexual
Yeah.
range. That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
It
well,
has nothing
speaking
to do with
about
that.
pleasuring and feeling the same, this lovely gift that we got here, I just want to then just kind of revisit this. How is finding love for you when you said millions have sold?
I really, that is one thing, and I'm a whole nother thing. So,
Okay,
and
so-
I mean that literally and
Figuratively.
So do you find, trying to get find love relationships, and you were mentioning wanting to diversify. Do you find that people get stuck behind the sort of this image of who you are, and that you always have to be scandalous on some level, or
Yeah.
how much of that plays into building your brand?
I think it's so crazy because, I feel like people will, especially if you're gay and you're black. So we have Queer as Folk, right? We have this amazing show that has amazing actors and, they have tons of sex scenes.
Right.
I've never once heard anyone say, that's porn. But when they see a gay
Darren
black,
agrees with that.
when they see a gay black man on television having the same interaction with another gay black man, it automatically seems dirty, or it's sexualized or overly sexualized.
Right.
Because I was in a television show called About Him that I flew to South Africa for the first time, and I filmed it, and it was amazing. And then my sex scene, which is, I think I had like one sex scene, is on Pornhub.
Did you see that, Aaron?
I did, and I saw one criticism
And he
when I brought
ends
up
up in
criticism
Pornhub.
earlier.
It's like now I'm on Pornhub. Why I can't even Google like why when Halle Berry did Monster, did
Yeah.
you do porn or no? Like I feel like we are overly sexualized as a community, especially gay black men. I mean, why is it these double standards when it comes to our community? Because we're overly sexualized.
I think
Because
where you do see that though is anytime there's a celebrity that has either posed nude or has been in a film where he might have been thought to be nude even if he wasn't, was caught on a set between changes and you get to see his penis. Sites like Pornhub and other porn sites, which is to drive traffic, as you
Right.
very well know. So I'm sure it's there to drive traffic. You're a
Oh,
known
because
name.
of your celebrity.
You've been in paper magazine,
Yeah.
excuse me. So they want to drive traffic to their site.
Exactly, yeah.
So there may be that exploitation piece in there as
but I
well
see it
that you're
happen.
talking
Yeah,
to.
definitely. But I see it
talking
happen
about.
to a lot of us. Yeah.
Changing
So-
the dialogue. That's the
Yeah.
key, and that's what we're doing here in the house. Right?
It is, and I just love this dialogue that we've had, and I'm so glad that you came, that you were here, and we're gonna end up wrapping up our dinner and dessert, and thank you so much for coming to the house.
Thank you guys. You guys are so great. I had a pleasure coming here. It was so fun. Like,
Glad to have you. And
Yes.
once you've come to the house, you are what? Always
Always
family.
family.
I'm
Yes.
coming back.
Okay, good. And bring more gifts. please.